To another video here on the channel, and today I'll be doing my Warzone 2.0 first impressions video talking about everything that I think about the game so far. Obviously, if you haven't seen or heard yet, today, November 16th, 2022, we are officially now getting Warzone 2.0 and the new DMZ mode for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. A lot of people have been excited for this moment. I'm one of these people. Before I get any further in the video, I want to remind you guys, if you're interested in the DMZ mode's first impressions video, I have uploaded that alongside this video for you guys today, so there's a double upload on the channel today. You can go check that video out after you're done with this one. But with that being said, yeah, I just want to talk about Warzone 2.0, give my first impressions on the game, give you guys a little bit of an idea and perspective into my play. So Warzone 2.0 is supposed to be a major stepping stone for the Call of Duty franchise, right? Like, it's supposed to be a massive improvement over the first iteration of Warzone that we got, and a lot of people have been very excited for it. Can you really blame them, to be honest? I mean, Warzone is one of the most successful products Call of Duty's ever put out. It's had millions upon millions upon millions of players, and it's made so much money for the Call of Duty franchise. I think we all kind of knew at this point, man, that we were going to be getting another iteration of Warzone. Maybe not Warzone 2.0 in particular, but I feel like we all kind of knew that Warzone was going to be a continued focus, I guess, for Call of Duty over the last few years. It's been so successful. I think we all kind of saw that coming. But is Warzone 2.0 good? What exactly is good about it? What exactly is bad about it? Let's go ahead and start breaking this down. So Warzone 2.0 brings some new changes and new features to the game. We got third-person Warzone now. They added interrogations, the new buy stations, there's proximity chat, the new circle collapses, the aquatic combat, the new vehicles, the new Gulag, the new map. And we're going to be talking about all of these things today. Also, we got Season 1 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 also coming today, so I just kind of want to talk about Warzone in specific here. So, Mazrah, the new map for Warzone, let's go ahead and talk about that first, because it's probably the biggest change to Warzone. Obviously, you know, we got a fully new map, and honestly, I love Mazrah. I don't know how other people feel about it so far, but I'm actually a pretty big fan of the map. And the reason that I'm such a big fan of the map in this game is there are so many iconic spots around the map that are, you know, traditional callbacks to different Call of Duty games, especially Modern Warfare games. And it's really cool how they kind of worked in all of these like fan favorite multiplayer maps and different things about, you know, Call of Duty in the past into Mazrah to make a pretty complete and full overall experience. The map plays pretty well. I think it's miles ahead of Caldera. I've gotten probably 5 to 10 games of Warzone in at this point, and that was one of the first things I noticed. This map is definitely better than Warzone Caldera, and the locations are better. It just plays more fun on this map, I feel like. And of course, on top of that, you know, one of the big things about the map that a lot of people always seem to really care about is those POIs, those locations. And trust me, there's plenty of good locations on this map. My favorite locations out of where I've landed so far, Mazrah City is pretty cool. A lot of people dropped there in my matches. Airport and Fortress are pretty alright. I prefer Airport over Fortress. Then you got Quarry. I was a pretty big fan of that. I've only landed there once though. The Observatory is awesome because I don't know if you guys also noticed this. In the Observatory, they have the dome map from Modern Warfare 3 in there. And that was kind of a cool thing they did around the map, is they implemented those little locations, right? Those things that would have been probably significant POIs if they weren't implemented into the other major POIs and everything around the map. But I really like Mazrah, and I think that's a good thing because this map is also going to be the map for DMZ mode, which means, yeah, we're basically going to be playing a lot of Mazrah if you don't want to be playing multiplayer in this game. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. It definitely was an improvement, I feel like, over Caldera. I don't know how other people feel about that, but personally, I like the map. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the new features, the new Gulag. This is probably one of the things that I wouldn't say I dislike about Warzone 2, but I'm not necessarily impressed. I feel like they tried to reinvent the wheel a little too much here. I think the original Gulag concept was just fine. I think it was different enough from other battle royales as was. I feel like this was just them trying to improve something that was already pretty much great. I mean, let's be real here. People already liked the original Gulag concept. I don't think they really needed to go out of their way to implement a new one. It's not the worst, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's just terrible and unplayable or whatever. But at the end of the day, was it necessary? I'm not going to say that it was. The new buy stations are pretty cool. It's a little bit, I feel like, of an improvement on the first idea. I know that I just kind of got on them for reinventing the wheel with the whole Gulag idea, but I think these buy stations are a little bit better than they were before. Another couple of those game features. I haven't played the third-person playlist yet, I'll be honest, so I'm not going to review that part, but the circle collapse I thought was a cool idea when they initially brought that on board. I still think it's a pretty cool idea. I like it. I think it adds a little bit of variety to the gameplay, makes those ending circles and that in-game experience just a little bit different, and overall, I really like that. I like them trying to switch that up a little bit. Once again, I know I just criticized them for reinventing the wheel, but I think this was a genuine improvement upon that system. It's different than other battle royales. I like it. The overall gameplay with Warzone 2.0, pretty decent. I mean, it feels a lot like Modern Warfare 2 at the same time, but personally, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I was playing in a 4-stack. I don't know how this game is going to play, you know, if you're playing solo. As of the time that I was playing the game, the only playlist that was available was quads, so you either were partying up with friends or you were partying up with randoms. But honestly, I ran the game with some friends, and I didn't think it was too terrible. I had a pretty decent time. You know, the communication was pretty alright and everything, so that probably had a pretty good impact on that, but I mean, it was playable, and that's what really matters. With Warzone, what I'm going to really be worried about in particular, long-term for this, is the cheating problem. If you didn't know, Warzone 1 had a massive problem with cheaters for a pretty good portion, if not all of its life cycle, and I understand they implemented Ricochet anti-cheat and everything into Call of Duty, and that's supposed to kind of like save us from having to deal with the bullshit of getting killed by hackers and stuff, but no anti-cheat is perfect, and that's the problem. So I'm really hoping that this game doesn't get ruined by the hackers. I'm really hoping that, you know, every time you die doesn't turn out being a hack. Like, I remember playing Warzone 1, like, in its prime, and it felt like literally every time you died on the map, you were getting killed by some fucking hacker, man, and it was so annoying. Like, it literally killed my desire to play Warzone at that point, and I really don't want that to happen with this game. I don't want it to get to a point, right, where we're talking about, oh, dude, Warzone 2.0 is ruined by hackers, right, because that would just fucking suck. So hopefully they can kind of keep on top of that. I don't see why they wouldn't want to. It hurts their bottom line, right, like when they constantly have to deal with hackers ruining Warzone, and of course also with Modern Warfare 2. Personally, I haven't ran into many, if any, cheaters in Modern Warfare 2, so I'm assuming and hoping that Warzone will be similar. The only thing is, Warzone 2.0 is going to be free to play, so free to play games, they just have more problems with cheaters in general. I don't know how it's going to work out, but hopefully it works itself out and we don't have to deal with this constantly. But overall, Warzone 2.0, is this something that I think is good? Do I think it's bad? Do I think it's mid? What do I think? Overall, man, I think it's a pretty solid foundation. I mean, the map is fun to play. I like some of the new game modes, or not game modes, but game features that they added. I had a decent time playing with my friends, and there wasn't really too much to hate, at least from my playing experience. There wasn't too much to hate. There wasn't too much that I felt like really threw the gameplay off or ruined the game in really any way. I felt like, personally. I know a lot of people probably will disagree, but I had a pretty decent time with it. Is it something that I'm gonna play like all day, every day? Probably not. I mean, I'm still a multiplayer guy. I love Call of Duty multiplayer, but this, if anything, for me, right, what does this provide to me? This is a game mode that I can play with pretty much any of my friends because it's free to play whenever I want, and it's something that I can grind outside of multiplayer. I'm still trying to grind camos and do challenges and stuff with this and actually get like Polyatomic and Orion camos in the game, but this is just, it's something else, right? It's something else that I can rely on and play when maybe I'm burnt heart out of multiplayer or when my friends want to play, right? And that's something that I personally need in gaming right now. So overall, I'm pretty positive on Warzone 2.0. I thought it was pretty decent. There are some minor changes that could be made, but that's the same thing with Modern Warfare 2. Overall, man, I'm not too mad. I can't complain too much. They did okay. They at least met my expectations. That's what I was really kind of hoping for, if anything. I'm sure that they'll make changes and add to it over time, and we'll have to kind of see how everything works from there. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @suboptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about Warzone 2.0, my first impressions, and signing out.